Are you on your homestead trying to put two nickels together to make money? Don't worry, you are just like the rest of us. There's plenty of profitable opportunities right here in your homestead to be making money. I asked my friends what are the top ways that they're making homestead money right now. So I have 10 total business models plus one bonus item that we're going to discuss today on profitable things we could be doing on our homestead today. So make sure you stick around all the way to the end because they're just going to get sweeter and sweeter as we talk about our business. The first one might sound very simple, but it could be insanely profitable, and I think that is fresh produce. So I don't know if you've been to a farmer's markets lately, but for us in our farmer's markets, there's no farmers there. We have all of these knickknacks and all of those things, and they're all great. They're all part of the farmer's market experience. But if they were to come straight here to Copiah County in Mississippi, they would make a killing because nobody is out here selling produce. Produce could be a great way to be making money. You're already going to be growing for yourself. What's growing a few more extra plants to sell to your neighbors that can help pay for fertilizer. It can help pay for next year's seeds. It can go on to help pay for one of the other projects on the homestead. Number two, and it's one that we've discussed recently, and that is eggs. Eggs are a great, easy way. It's kind of one of the low barrier items to get into selling items off the homestead. I get asked all the time about eggs and if I'm selling eggs and they could be able to purchase eggs. I currently do not sell eggs. For me, it was not worth the dollars. As my friends say, the juice is not worth the squeeze to be able to have that item on my homestead. However, for some, it very well might be. We've had it in the past where it's been a little profitable for us and it's at least helped break even across the line. And that's allowed us to help pay for other projects. It's helped pay for our meat birds and things like that. So it's a great item to kind of a base level to get into. But I don't rely on that as far as like a full income. Number three is one that I'm really getting into, and I've met someone recently who started selling these, and that is artisanal baked goods. I met a friend recently, and we're excited to be doing an interview soon and learning more. I'm going to go follow her at the farm stand with her, so she's going to show off her baked goods and what she's been working really hard on, and I'm really excited about it. And we're going to be just kind of following her day in the life. We'll help make a couple breads. We'll see how she sells them, how her tent's set up, and everything she's doing to be profitable at a farmer's market. This person has put a lot of time and effort in. It goes into, she's doing like sourdoughs, she's doing like hamburger buns, and she's really getting into like Eastern European breads specifically. And she's finding a really good niche here of people looking for that product because that's not something you're going to find in a Whole Foods or Kroger or anything of that nature. Next item, homemade jams and preserves. This is something that we have dabbled into a little bit. You need to make sure you consult with your local laws on what that's going to be and how that looks. You might not be able to use your home kitchen to be able to sell products. Again, I feel like that should be self-explanatory. But everybody has unique recipes that's been passed down from their grandmother, and it all makes this unique experience of something that you could be very niche on having something that's different to you. We have an episode coming out soon of our pantry and what we have in our pantry, and you'll be able to kind of see some of those jams and jellies that we've tried out over the years. We have pretty good success with it, but it's just the overall competition is really flooded in our market. Our farmer's market has lots of jams, jellies, salsas, etc. And it kind of ruins it for everybody when another person, another one, shows up and is selling the same baked goods. Honey and bee products. So honey is becoming a very exclusive product to have. The American honeybee is becoming almost extinct. So there's lots of efforts to help bring them back, and Homesteaders, as I believe, is one of the forefronts of that. The best honey that I can find is coming from my local honey providers. Bees are one of the top things I want to have on my homestead that I do not have yet. I have always wanted a beehives. and be able to make my own honey, but that's one of those things that's kind of set just on the cusp of things that I've been able to do. But they always sell really well. They sell great in local markets. They also sell really well in small shops, like gift shops, local bread and breakfast, local restaurants. These are things that these are certain things that they're looking for. So if you have that and you have those bees, you really do have a niche and a really high selling point. Good honey is becoming very, very hard to find. We're finding a lot of the honey that's in the stores also has fillers in with it. And so it's not pure honey. It's honey flavor with, I don't know, corn syrup or whatever it might be. Number 6, specialty meats. How many of you are growing lamb, goats, rabbits, quail, duck on your farms? It's a great opportunity to sell something that is highly specialized to a special market. I have friends that have dealt with the Middle Eastern community and selling goats. So they put a big emphasis on growing meat goats, kikos, and boars, and have spent time and energy focusing in on growing for them. And he sees a great turnaround. He's got a very good community here in Mississippi, and there's not a lot of people from the Middle East in our area, but what they are, though, they're very concentrated. They like to be in groups together. But this farmer was able to really infiltrate the Middle Eastern community and be able to offer them a great product at a great price. He sells basically to several families that come and buy his meat directly right off the farm. And so he has an opportunity to sell right then and there. He doesn't have to deal with all the runaround. They buy the goat live off of the homestead and they take it to them. So the family didn't have to grow it out. They didn't have to have all the land and all the extras. They basically just pick it up, take it home, and they've got a great meat option. Number 7, cheese and dairy products. How many of you are growing dairy right there on your homestead? It's a great opportunity to sell something to your neighbor. Cheese is it's the flavor of love. It's this weird chemistry of letting milk sour and curdle and do all these weird things and letting it sit in an area for a couple of months and letting it ferment. And there's just this magical thing that happens when you make good local cheese that you don't get from the products that you're buying at the superstore. It's a great way to get in. Now, it does take a lot of milk to be able to make cheese, especially enough to sell. So you got to make sure that your operation is set up for success to be able to do that in a more sustainable way, or else you're just selling 2 or 3 little blocks of cheese at one time. However, it is a great way. As a chef, if I see someone making local cheese, I'm all in. I'm going, that's what I'm getting at the farmer's market. There's no way around it. And I know almost everyone around me is the same way. It's a great way. With the rise of charcuterie and things of that nature on TikTok, it's a great time to be selling things like cured meats, which again, we talked about meats a second ago, cheeses, and all those little different things that you can sell on charcuterie boards. Number 8, and it's something we have a little experience with here on the homestead, and that's goat's milk soap products. Now, goat's milk soap products have been very profitable for us. My oldest daughter, that was her business here on our homestead. She managed her herd. She milked every day, 3 to 5 times a day. She made sure that she ran her business. She made the soap. She went to the farmer's market. She was 100% that girl the whole time. And so she was, I think what they would call a boss babe, right? She's a cool chick running her own business. And so she was able to make over $23,000 by selling goat's milk soap. She was just about making my income, a couple bucks off, but for a 16-year-old, she was making absolutely killer money. The problem with goat's milk soap, again, is overpopulation of product. You've got to be super careful. There are a lot of growers out there that are selling goat's milk soap products. So know your market, make sure you're visiting, making sure you're not going to set up a goat's milk stand right beside a goat's milk stand. Eliza had issues with that. The big frontier, I think, for that industry is selling online, and I feel like that's where I'm highly encouraging my daughter to go, is to be able to sell online. Next is herbs and spices. Herbs and spices are a great way to kind of get in. It's an easy way to get in. We've created a few here. We sell them normally as we normally give them as Christmas gifts. We'll do things like make salt mixes. We made like a jalapeno salt last year for my dad. We've got spice mixes. We'll make like our own Italian blend and do a couple of different things here. And again, it's just having it growing the herbs, and we're dehydrating, or you can sell them fresh under like a produce wing. Also, I feel like under this umbrella would be things like growing tea blends. I think herbal teas are becoming a huge hit again. There's a lot of focus going back into all natural, focusing in on Eastern medicine, and focusing kind of a little bit more on homeopathic and all natural. And I think that really benefits somebody who's really focused in and deep dives and they know that information. There's lots of different herbs that have different old-fashioned cures. There's lots of great books that are out there, and creating teas and little mixes and things like that to be able to help people would go a long way. And I think people really kind of get into that. There's a whole subculture that really gets excited about those kinds of products. Some of you might call them the hipsters, but I think the hipsters are really onto something, and people are willing to pay a premium for having someone custom blend different tea blends. Number 10, and I've seen this be highly successful, is flowers and plants. How many of you are growing seeds out already for your homestead? They're going out and you're going to be planting out 100 tomatoes. Could you grow 200 in small pots and be able to sell them off to someone at the homestead? There's also options for things such as being able to grow things just like fresh cut flowers. Fresh cut flowers was one of the most profitable things I've ever seen happen on in a farmer's market. At multiple farmers markets, I've had people growing fresh flowers. They arrive, they've got all the flowers down in water, and the next thing you know, like, people just descend upon them. The local floristry comes in, the local restaurants to put flowers out on their tables. It's a great option to be able to sell out. And it's probably something that, especially on the potted plant side that you're already doing, you just need to twist it in your presentation to be able to sell to the masses. So being able to grow easy things like tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, things like that you know you can get to market and sell for a really good cost. If you're seeding it out and growing it locally, and I see it at a locals market, that's good for me because that lets me know that that squash, that variety, is going to go great in my area. I don't like buying squash and things from the larger superstores because I don't know necessarily if that tomato is bred to grow in my region. Here in Mississippi, it's hot, it's muggy. You know, we've got plight, we've got hornworms. We've got a very difficult climate for tomatoes. So when I see things like tomatoes that are doing really well, that I know that they have grown on their homestead or their farm, that lets me know that it's going to do really well on my homestead. The last one, and I call it the bonus one, is it's kind of a 10.5, but there are options to sell things like, they call them like value-added products, but your salsas, your pre-made soups, all of those things in that nature, your granola. You can make all these different mixes and have a great opportunity to sell them at the homestead. In my area, everyone around here wants to get into canning and selling all those kinds of products. So it kind of makes it very difficult for me to be able to sell that. But there's lots of great options in there. And again, it's about being unique. It's about offering something different. Everybody and their mom has canned tomatoes out here. Everybody and their mom has pickled okra. Chow chow, which is like a relish here in the South. I'm not sure if the rest of the country has chow chow, but chow chow it's a pickled condiment that we put on our collard greens and everything delicious. Collard greens, cabbage, cornbread, chicken. I put it on my fish. I love chow chow. So things like chow chow are great in our markets here, but it's becoming very flooded. So again, I think it could be very profitable for you, but you need to make sure that you are checking out your local farm stand or whatever you're trying to sell at, and then make sure that you're not overpopulating that subcategory to make sure, again, that you're being profitable. You're not wasting your time. So there's a lot of effort that goes into working on these farm stands. It's not just you showing up and I pop up a tent and then I start selling goods. There's lots of hours that go into creating that. So you've got to be prepared. You got to make sure that you're you got to make sure the juice is worth the squeeze. Again, I hope all of these have been juices that are worth the squeeze. I know there's lots of different projects that are out there, things that are being profitable for your homestead. If you have something that's being highly profitable in your homestead, make sure you leave it down below. So that way we can help each other out. And again, I'd love to interview and again, see what's going and being successful on your homestead. I know it's been successful for me here, and that's always a constant rotation of things. So it's never all of my eggs in one basket. It's multiple things selling, like we're about to be selling off halves of pigs. And so we've got some chicken eggs. Then there's some whole tomato plants. There's a couple things that we're moving around that is able to make profit for us to make the homestead worthwhile for us. I hope this helps. I hope that you are having the best homestead year effort. I know we are. We're off to an amazing start for this year. I'm really excited about it. We got some great content that's in the works. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't had a chance yet, check this video right up here. This video is about what's been profitable specifically on my homestead. And I think there's great content there. There's ideas that you can take to be highly profitable on your homestead. Until next time, cook on, and we'll see you guys later.